What's up, guys? This is Chris here, and today we have Mike with us once again. I'm excited to have him back, and now we're going to be talking about your 5 favorite guns, or at least the 5 favorite that I had here.
Right, and with that, I wanted to pick one from each category. So like, we have a shotgun, a rifle, PCC, etc. So he had all but one that it initially suggested, but he has a close analog that will work just fine.
And we'll talk about it. We'll let you know.
Sure. So I suppose we'll just start on my left and just walk through them. All right, so this is the one. What I actually, we're starting out with shotguns, I should say. I initially said, do you have an old Remington 870? Very specifically, not a new one. If you guys watch my channel, I have killed 870s over the last 4 years too many times, and I just don't trust them anymore. The old ones, though, are still great. So if you can get an old one, great. If you have to buy something new, however, this would absolutely be my choice. This is the Mossberg 590. 500s are great as well. This, the retro grade, is that?
Yeah. That's the expensive one because it comes with a heat shield because, you know, cool, you know.
Well, anti-gunners don't like heat shields.
But I do.
Right.
I wish it came with a bayonet.
Yes.
Got the lug.
It's got the lug. Yeah. Okay, got it. You're almost there. What do you do?
So we had to cut quick because of our dogs. Our dogs will be running in and out behind us here. They love Mike, so get ready for that. We're going to keep going with the 590 here.
So what I would say is that, again, if you have to buy something new, the Mossbergs are probably the most reliable pump action shotguns out there anyway. The 500, 590, both ultra durable, reliable. You're not going to go wrong with them. If I had to have one, I would go 590. I don't mind the extra weight. It's just a little more durable, a little bit more rugged. But accessories are plentiful. You know, if you actually want to set it up for home defense or whatever use you want, it can do it. And of course, shotguns are versatile in terms of the ammo they can use. So thoughts on it?
I mean, I love it. Obviously, that's my favorite shotgun. I really like the ambi safety because my wife's left-handed. I'm right-handed, so we have to use it. It works a little better. People do prefer the crossbolt to the 870, and I'm with you on that. I had an old 870 Wingmaster for years. I eventually sold it, sadly, but it was one of the coolest guns. I would say, maybe this is just me, but due to the way the pump works, I think the 870 does have a little faster pump for me.
Agreed.
But I like the way the Mossberg looks, and I prefer a reliable gun when I buy it. The new Remingtons are a little,
They are. Yeah. Unfortunately, I wish they weren't. I wish they were great, but they're not.
Because they were like one of the best guns in the world for literally decades.
Yep, they went downhill quick though. So, yep, that would be my shotgun pick. If you had to pick one that is new in terms of actual rifles, we're going with an AR-15 because this is America and it's America's rifle. And
America, baby.
Honestly, if I could pick one rifle, that probably would be what I would pick, actually. Even with all the cool variants out there, I'd go AR just because. And this one here is a BCM. This is a 14.5, correct?
That's a 11.5.
11.5, excuse me. But what I would go with for the actual, like if you're like, which one does Mike recommend? I would go with the BCM with the 16-inch barrel with the ELW profile. Barrel, it's fantastic. It's lightweight. It can do everything you want an AR-15 to do. Durable. The value proposition is killer for BCM.
Absolutely.
Like, you can buy more expensive rifles than BCM, for sure, by a lot. I don't think you get much increase, if any, in terms of performance. There's kind of a scale. How are you doing? There's kind of a scale in terms of, like, diminishing returns, if you will, once you go beyond BCM.
I agree.
In my opinion. So you
as far as accuracy, they're phenomenal. I mean, obviously, he's holding my home defense gun, so you can tell what I think of BCM. And they're from Wisconsin, which is only a state away, which I appreciate. I mean, if I compare that to like Daniel Defense, which is a great gun, most of my DDs have been like overgassed a little bit and the recoil impulse is not great. My BCMs shoot really, really well, like right out of the box. And on top of that, you talked about the barrel, the extreme lightweight contour. I used to buy those barrels and put them in other guns. I like those so much, but they're not available anymore, at least not that I found.
No, they're not. It's just fantastic. If you have the money for a BCM and you're not going budget, it would be what I would recommend for the vast majority of people.
Now, I usually buy the uppers and lowers separate because, you know, the upper you can get in the kit and it's super cheap. But I don't even know what a full rifle costs. What is that, like 16, 17 maybe?
So, no. That's the crazy thing. You know, your Daniel Defenses typically are in that, you know, 18, 1900, the same with like a Geissele Super Duty, which are other great guns. BCM pretty much always, depending on the model and specs, is going to come in $300 to $400 less than that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's impressive. Like, I think the last upper receiver I bought was around $1,000.
Yeah, they're going to be close to there, but I mean, you can get a complete rifle if you look around for $1,300 to $1,500 for sure.
Nice. And they have really killer stocks too. They've always had really good M-LOK rails, in my opinion.
Agreed.
M-LOK and Keymont. Weren't they one of the first companies that came out with Keymont?
They were.
Yeah.
The KMR rail.
Built
that business for a long
ultra
time.
light, tough.
The only downside to the rail on modern, like compared to modern guns, is they do have slightly more flex than some of the newer ones. But
for lasers and stuff.
Right. If you're not shooting night vision, you'll never see that. It's not going to be a thing. All right. Well, moving on.
To the revolver.
We will go with a revolver, right? So this one here is actually what I carried over here today. This is Smith & Wesson J-frame. This particular one is the 357 Magnum ultra lightweight one. Have you ever shot this?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay, perfect. So basically it's kind of a stand-in. For me, revolvers as a primary way I look at them are carry guns. Just something small, lightweight, going to the gas station or whatever, throw in your pocket. Obviously, revolvers come in all the shapes and sizes. If I was gonna go with a bigger one, me personally, I would go with a 686 plus. That would be my choice. But in general,
my viewers love that.
Do they?
Put that gun in everything.
Yeah, I love that gun. I do too. Same. If you watch any ballistics test by me, I'm shooting something with it. But yeah, this would be what I go with. The J-frames are just proven. They work. They're reliable.
That sight's dope.
Yeah, this is the XS sight on there. I don't know who makes these grips. I think Hogue. But yeah, it's a fantastic gun. It's lightweight. I think they're like 13 ounces, something like that.
Very light.
Very lightweight, especially this particular model.
The 357, they got a little kick, a little hair.
They got a thump. That's for sure.
But the other guy will feel it worse. So
yes, they will. Smith & Wesson J-frames, I mean, they've been around since the 50s. So, I mean, started out with the police chief special, is that what it was called? The early
you got
one?
me.
I think it was, but I mean, they've been around forever, carried forever. They just work. I don't think I've ever had a malfunction with a J-frame, and I definitely can't say that about a lot of other revolvers.
So, I've never seen one. I can tell you that.
I haven't either.
I think some of that is because people probably don't shoot them quite as much.
Agreed.
Like, you know, I've got 8-shot 9mm in there. We shoot a lot.
Right.
Versus maybe the 5 or 6-shot 357s. But man, they're going to work. And on top of that, what I've always really liked about it, I used to be a bit of a grappler. I used to wrestle when I was younger. I used to do jiu-jitsu. And when we did combatives with my buddies, we would have a lot of slide issues, like up close, and especially like standoff distances and stuff.
Right.
Revolver, you're not going to have that, which is nice.
Yep. No, I agree. There's a lot to be said for them. People say they're outdated. I'm like,
depends on what you're using them for.
There's still a place.
Yeah,
I agree.
If you go to a USPSA match, maybe outdated. If you're carrying it to the store, probably not.
Yeah, you're probably going to be okay. All right, and then we went with a full-size semi-automatic, and this is probably going to be the controversial pick, I think.
I don't think it will be.
You don't think so?
No. I mean, it's still one of the most popular guns in the country.
That's true. So I grew up, you know, with Glocks. Just like, for example, my shotgun pick was the 870. That was the first gun I ever owned. Back when I was 18, you couldn't buy handguns as a, you know, an 18-year-old. You could buy them used, but you couldn't buy them new. So it was harder to get. So I got a shotgun first, then I got a pistol. That was a Glock. So that's kind of what I grew up with before I had a channel.
Sure.
And so love Glocks. And I think the 19X here, this would be my choice, or the 45. Honestly, I would pick either one. They're essentially the same gun.
I mean, the 19X is tan, so obviously it's much better.
Agreed. 1,000%.
Shoots better, it's more reliable.
and more accurate. If it's tan, it's more accurate.
It always is.
Every time. And so this particular model is, in my opinion, probably the best all-around Glock they've ever made.
That's what I said. I mean, feature pack. Like, it comes with threaded barrel, the raised sights, good-ish optic system, although the Radiant is better.
Yep, for sure. And it's actually threaded correctly. For years, Glock has been using European thread patterns. On this one, they didn't. So that is nice. Usable trigger, reliable. You know, I mean, it's a Glock. It works.
It definitely will.
That would be what I would go with. I mean, obviously, there's other handguns I really love as well, but if I could pick like the top one for a new person to get or something like that for doing everything, that would be one I would go with for sure. I mean, there's fancier, Guccier guns that are nicer, but like if I had to rely on it, that's what I would go with.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're going to comp it, if you're going to suppress it, I always like the shorter slide with the longer grip. You know, a lot of people hate on that, but especially like I always say in a patrol car or something like that, when you're going to be riding outside the waistband holster, the shorter slide actually works better.
And I think it just feels better under recoil.
Yeah, it definitely does, because you have less mass tracking back, which feels great too.
All right, and the last one might be another controversial pick.
This one might be. Although I like this gun as well, because I obviously own it.
And I'll explain why. So for PCCs, Scorpion is what I would pick. This is the Gen 3, right?
Yeah, it's
the new Gen 3.
One. Yep.
And so
Gen 3 Plus.
Yes, fancy.
Yeah, so much better.
A few reasons for it, but one of the big ones is just reliability and cost, sort of the balance between the two. These, for folks that don't know, have been used by militaries, armies all over the world, police forces all over the world for over 10 years now. Probably longer, actually, with the originals.
And they have a good rep too, right?
Oh yeah, they run. They run and they just keep running. It's a simple blowback system. All you have is a big chunky bolt back here, threaded barrel. The original barrels on these actually were inaccurate. I have video on it. It's like 10 years old.
Yeah, you never hear the end of it either if you post a Scorpion video.
Yeah, they were legitimately inaccurate. Like 6 inches at 25 yards, but they fixed that with their follow-up generation, and they're very accurate, very reliable. They have very usable controls. If you're used to the AR-15, you're right at home with it.
The new ones controls are a little better too, because when they first came out, the controls were a little hard to use.
Agreed. They're hard to read.
Especially the safety. The safety was a bit of an issue.
Yep. and it would dig into your hand.
It would.
And now they have a ton of aftermarket support as well. So, I mean, there's great companies like Manticore Arms and lots of others making accessories. Of course, now we're filming this in 2024, so the braces are back.
They never went anywhere.
That's actually true. They didn't go anywhere. That's a better way to say it. I agree.
I'm just messing.
But for something like this, obviously a very small, compact little package. You can throw it in the backpack if you want to.
It's really impressive considering, I mean, put it up against the Glock.
Right. And if you think, I mean, it's much harder to shoot pistols well than it is a little PCC like this, especially for the average shooter.
Yeah.
The average shooter, this will be much more accurate, much more just easy to get hits, if you will.
Especially under stress, right?
Correct.
You have all the points of contact. Recoil control is better on this as well. I mean, I really like the Scorpion just because of its lightweight, its ability to just be hidden in a backpack if you needed to.
Right.
And now they actually really do come with good features, like you mentioned.
Yep.
The previous generations I was a little iffy on, but the reliability's always been there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever had a malfunction. I have 3 of them.
I do err toward the side charging handle if I can get one too.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of guns run the T-handle, they don't have to,
Right.
you know?
I am not saying this is the best one in the world and the fanciest and the Gucciest. I'm just saying it's like under $700 in a lot of places right now, which is insane for how proven and reliable it is.
Yeah, I made an argument for the MP5 before I made this video because that's my favorite. But if you think about what is this, 3 or 4 of these you can get for an SP5K?
Yes, at least.
So you could have one, you know, every room in your house for the same price.
Exactly.
It's pretty impressive. And the mags are a lot cheaper as well.
They are, and Magpul makes the mags as well now
Yep.
too, so I think you can get them for under 20 bucks.
PSA makes a bunch of different sizes as well.
Yep, 35 round, standard
Yeah.
capacity.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, that's a pretty good list. I would say it's pretty tough to argue with that, and it gives something for everybody. Well, thanks for showing up and doing the video. Well, we were having so much fun at the range that we forgot to film an outro. So Mr. Gunsngear is gone now, but here's me, my smiling face, telling you, make sure you go down and check out Mr. Gunsngear's channel. He's Mr. Gunsngear on YouTube, on Instagram, and on all the other social medias as well. We'll leave a couple links in the description below. He does pretty phenomenal reviews, and he knows an absolute ton about guns, so go check him out. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Please stop by our Oklahoma shelters, and remember to recycle. All right, man. Well, thanks for having me. Or wait a minute, you're at my house. Not enough coffee.